Y'all already know we got on that. Which one is that? That's that. Is that the West Poppin'? Is that the West Poppin' slap? I don't even know. I'm gonna have to look because I don't even know which slap is which no more. Hell, I done did so many of them. They all hit. Remind me later. Y'all always want to update something when I'm trying to record something. I'm trying to record something. Welcome back, Team DWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn. You already know what time it is. It's 6 p.m. Wednesday. If not, it'll be 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. If not, it'll be whatever time I get the video posted on Rumble because, it'd be like that with the pre records. I do it live on YouTube, but Rumble gets the recorded version in studio quality. So, y'all know if you don't like these verticals because I'm stealing content, you can come check out the actual look of the stolen content on another site. We do that around here. We get it done. Hell, fuck what they say. We just gonna do what we want. Hey, and then when they try to come get us, hell, either we'll be ready for it or we won't be. But if they catch me slipping, you know what's gonna happen whenever I'm not slipping. I'm gonna be right back tripping and kicking their ass. Hey, it be like that. Hell, shit. Anyways, let's see. Today's video topic is prickly business. That boy's good. The thumbnail is a hand pot. It's a pot designed to look like a hand that's holding a cactus. Which, if you don't know the reference there, go ahead and leave a comment in the bottom because we'll inform you what that actually is supposed to be throwing an imaging of. But it's a hand holding a cactus, which is why it ties back into this prickly business category that we're talking about today. But anyways, let's see. We got 1 minute highlights. I like that opening minute, so we'll go back and keep it because it's good intro, good intro. Those intro little short videos be getting me some views, so we gonna keep up with it because that's the whole point of being on YouTube. Hopefully somebody listens to something we say, because hell, it be like that sometimes. Anyways, so we done spent the first 2 minutes of the video with just me talking. Let me get my camera straight. What do you say? Hop up out the bed, turn my scale on. I'm finna get my hustle zone going. You dig the hustle? Why does that look not right? Okay, there we go. Anyway, so we got some topics and shit to go over. Y'all know to hit up the big homie on all his YouTube channels, get y'all some intro and outro beats. You might want to start rapping on the track or whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you go ahead and clear it with him before you try to put anything out. Because that way, the beats was free. But if you actually did something with it, now we're going to have to get some money together on the back end. That's how that goes. You see what I'm saying? As soon as you start getting your little commissions and royalties, we want our cut. But you know how we is. It's all about the biz. And we got some good topics today too. So hell, this might be a minute. I ain't gonna say all nighter because hell, I gotta take a shower here in a little bit. Get fresh and clean, come back, and then talk some more shit.
Hey guys, 420 scene here, back at it again with another video. And be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Join our Patreon for one-on-one grow help with me, smoke sets live streams, and our VIP Discord pin and at the pin comment. So the first comment that you see by me in the comment section, you're gonna have to expand the pin message though. I know. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. We haven't done a video since the last Grow and Joe episode, but I wanted to make sure everybody was going to watch the Grow and Joe before we start uploading more videos. So that way I can't be like, oh, is this gonna grow? We call Pro makes a soil, not a meeting. In today's video, we're going over questions you had from me through the community section of the channel, so let's get right into it. Starting with question number 1, Andy Barker asked, is it worth it to use an inline fan with a carbon filter to bring in fresh air into the grow tent? It's not so much that you're bringing fresh air into your tent as it is exhausting hot air from your lights out of your tent. So if you're trying to bring in fresh air to your tent, just put a box fan on the side of the tent on the outside, you know, like the bottom vent hole. It's going to push air to the bottom side, and that's going to bring in the fresh air while the exhaust system is going to be pushing that hot air out. So you're constantly going to be recycling your air and bringing in fresh air. So yes, it's definitely worth it. Question number 2, Mad Smokes asked, what's an adequate perpetual setup? I'm just the right person to ask that because I love doing perpetual, and I just set mine up just a couple weeks ago, well, maybe a couple months ago now. But what I like to do is I like to have my veg tent to be a little bit smaller than my flowering tent, so that way you could fill up your entire veg tent, and when you put them into the flowering tent, you have a little bit of extra room for that final stretch. And you also need to keep in mind that you'll need to account for 2 weeks of dry time. Now, as far as your timeline goes, don't try to hit everything perfect, because when you're running perpetual, you still need to understand that your plants are going to be done when they're done. Kind of like when you're checking on trikes. It could be done in 50 days or it could be done in 65 days, but as long as you're at least in that ballpark, within that range, you could still run a very successful perpetual setup. Me personally, I have a 4x4 veg tent and a 5x5 flowering tent. You do not need to have the sizes that big if you don't have the room. You could always just go with a 2x4 and a 3x3, or a 3x3 and a 4x4. Or you could be that guy running a 4x8 and a 10x10. Who out there is that guy? I would love to have your setup. Now you
Well, what's going to be the solution to that? Because, you know, that's what we talk about around here. I mean, if the problem is a problem, there should be a solution. So, you know, blood clots in the leg, that only means you need to get your circulation up, which means, you know, sometimes you got to lay on your back and do your little bicycle kicks. Shouts out to that video. That might be a good video, depending on if you make it or not. But, you know, it's exercise, exercise, exercise. That's always the first correction for most health problems. You got to exercise the points that are bad. Shouts out to Jay Jordan. You know, if you need a customized workout for that, I suggest you hit up the big homie for that. But you know how we do. Hell, we just gonna smoke through our problems because, you know, I'll be working and walking and doing all the shit that I'm supposed to do. But you get what we talking about. It'd be like that. I mean, oh yeah, I mean, we like to talk solutions. Hell, it's a problem, but hell, now that you know what the problem is, it's up to you to what? Solve it. Shouts out to the solutions. Hey, if you need somebody to walk with you and talk with you, just let me know. I ain't gonna walk with you, but I'll be on the phone with you while you walking. Unless you catch me while I'm at work, and then if I'm at work and I'm on the phone with you, you could be walking around all damn day, and I'll keep your ass trucking. Make sure you get all your miles in. But you know how it goes. Support's out there if you need it, but it is out there if you need it. But hell yeah, I appreciate him talking about perpetual grows, because that's one of the things that I've always had set up from the time that I got Flower Tent 2 set up. I was like, man, I can, well, I mean, my plant count's double because I've got 2 licensed growers in the house. You dig? Shouts out to that part of the game, but then with me having the 2 licensed growers, I can have my harvest and mom's harvest. So therefore, we just keep it popping. Yeah, I see. I got you laughing. Yeah, it be like that. If you need somebody to talk to while you walking around and doing your exercises, you can always call your brother. Yeah. Shouts out to Popcorn. Hell, I can either be your brother or your coach, whichever one you want. Just know I ain't gonna play with you. I'll make sure you own it. Hell, leg problems. Oh, no, we ain't doing all that. Health issues. Shout out to my video sponsors, the Superfood Parents, because they tell you this type of stuff over on their channel with their content. Hell, we gonna solve all your health problems and get you with some other problems, like how we gonna spend all this money since I'm gonna be living for a long time. Hey, you know how we do. We actually keep it real with everybody. I mean, hell. I mean, I ain't gonna exercise with you because I work hard enough during my day jobs. Yeah, so hey, it be like that. Hey, if you needed to hear something funny to make your ass get up off your ass and go and get into these exercise routines, we got you. We got you. Hell, but hell, as far as medical problems, half of those start from lack of exercise. It's been said that 90% of health problems are due to lack thereof. That's why I always told myself I'm glad I usually work physically demanding jobs, because that keeps me in shape without me having to take time to work out. Because hell, last time I checked, if I worked hard for 8 hours, Yeah, why do I need to go work out? Now I might need to target a specific area, or like I said, lay down on the back and do them vertical non-bike riding exercises. But you get what I'm saying. You keep that circulation up. You got to reverse your whole programming and get that shit whipped right back in shape. Because hey, you go down, but you could always come back up, right? It's just like Young Jeezy said, stay down till we come back up again. Well, if you start getting problems, now it's time to start coming back up because you coming up with solutions, and that's always a good part of coming up.
Could have your veg tent and your flowering tent the same size, but then that requires a little bit of discipline, knowing how much space you have, and flip before you do run out of room in your tent completely. So if you're not disciplined enough to do that, then you need to make sure that your flowering tent is going to be just a little bit bigger. It's almost like a built-in foolproof plan. Question number 3, Hydro Can asks, when are you releasing full songs? When is the next time we can catch you streaming? And can we see the seed collection and details on the genetics? As far as the seed collection goes, I can do a separate video for that because I feel like it would just take too long to get through everything in a Q&A. And as far as when I'm releasing full songs, I've been working on rock instrumental jam session tracks. It's something kind of original I don't really see people doing. So pretty much I take a popular song and I come up with different variations of it. And it's just fun and pretty cool. It's just something I like to do. And I'm not really a fan of singing, so that's kind of the direction I'm going with my music. People seem to enjoy that direction I'm going in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little clip of what I've been working on real quick, so check it out.
Now, speaking of me being judgmental, y'all know I'm very judgmental. Bro need to actually hit the goddamn gym. See, he got too much going on over here. Hell, okay, I do need to do that. What's today? Is the 20? Yeah, I needed to do that before Friday, so I'll make sure I get that done. Pops, thanks for the reminder. But anyways, like I was saying, yeah, see, one of his problems look like he don't work at it at all. He's taking up half the damn camera. And if you don't like me being judgmental, y'all know what to do. Hit the damn door on your way out. You see what I'm saying? Because last I checked, the people that want you to be a bad judge or not judge them is because they're bad judges. Okay, shouts out to that part of the game. I mean, everybody's not gonna be perfect, but we're not gonna sit here and act like we can't solve problems. Hell, I got a problem with that part of the game, right? Like shit, I'm sitting over here with 99 solutions. I ain't got one problem. I got all solutions. What's gonna happen? Naomi said me and her gonna have to start doing some talk walks. All right, we gonna do that. We gonna make sure she on it. We gonna get her posting content too, cause hell, that's how we do. We monetization coaches. Hell, she might get rich off of YouTube and fix her health while she was doing it. You see what I'm saying? What happened? Well, I was talking to Popcorn on my iPhone, and then on my Android, he had me going live, cause you know that's the big bro type of move right there. But yeah, I mean, he talking about perpetual grows, but always do content you enjoy. But my guy's over here enjoying life a little bit too much, cause hell, he looked like that one chick that Kevin Samuel said was hitting the middle gap. Hey, I ain't gonna talk about it, bro. Hell, he can get as big as he want. Eat another sandwich, bro. Eat another sandwich. What up, Sue? Good to see you. I know to go check out the Bud Files daily.
If you like what you heard, be sure to follow me on my YouTube music channel called Rockin' with Cali. That's going to be in a description, and that's also going to be at the pinned message down below. As far as streaming goes, I've been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight still, so I just haven't had the time between all the projects and the grows that I'm working on, but I'll definitely...
I mean, bro, I'm gonna sit here and talk shit because I'm gonna be myself, and this is what I do. I mean, anybody that knows me know this is what I do. So, be yourself, be your channel, right? Shouts out to we the best YouTube channels because we gonna sit here and do it. But hell, I see why he only has an up close headshot half the damn time. This man is somebody needs to tell bro, hey bro, you gonna have to hit the gym or something. I mean, walk around the block, I mean, or something, because hell, you just getting big. I mean, you supposed to get big in life. That mean you ain't stressing or nothing. But at the same point in time, you gotta remember, as soon as your girl get mad at you, then your fat ass ain't gonna be able to pick up nobody else because you done got too comfortable. Hell, I done got comfortable not working out my damn self. But hell, like I said, I stay doing something to sweat at least over 30 minutes of the day. Like I said, I work 8 hours in the sun myself. Well, not 8 hours when I'm doing deliveries, but hell, the first 4 hours of the day, I am just standing there sweating. Yeah, I'm on that Keith sweat. Why is y'all trying to call me when y'all know it's after 6 on a Wednesday? Y'all better quit. Hell, you're lucky it's somebody I can't just pull up on and slap the shit out of, because I would. I've been doing my YouTube thing since 2021, so if you want to interrupt me while I'm doing my thing, guess what you get? My full attention afterwards. Yeah, but you know, T-Mobile cut themselves off, so I ain't worried about them. Hell, fuck T-Mobile. They can go eat a fat baby dick. That cactus on the fucking thumbnail. Yeah, it's a prickly business out here. Oh, I forgot. I got a longer video to do later, so we better get back on track. We 15 minutes into a 10-minute video. Y'all know how we do over here, though. It'd be like that.
Back on Twitch. Actually, I was streaming yesterday a little bit of Dead by Daylight, just kind of getting back into the swing of things. I did see this message. I'm like, you know what? I haven't streamed on Twitch in a while. So when you do go on my Twitch, the schedule is going to be on the bottom where I have all my tabs and basic info. Make sure to go to the About Me section. Do not go on to...
Yeah, 420 scene reminds me of that movie It's Pat. Shouts out to Saturday Night Live. I didn't even know I was a fan of that guy still, because here he is talking to me about weed now, which is, you know how I feel about that. Well, if you don't know how I don't feel shit. But anyways.
The schedule, I can't seem to get
Fire in the
rid of
hole.
it. I don't know why Twitch automatically has it in there, but go to the About Me section. That's where I have my Twitch schedule. Be sure to follow me on the 420 scene. It's a new channel. Don't follow my old 420 scene Twitch channel. I can't log into that account, which blows, because I think I had like over 5,000 followers, which on Twitch, that's...
Now, we gonna remind y'all, because he said it right there. Make sure y'all got y'all passwords written down somewhere for your, especially content accounts. If you posting content somewhere and ain't got your password written down in a notebook, a motherfucking notebook right here. I ain't gonna show you what all I got in mind, but y'all already know we take notes. Ain't no way you locked out of a potential stream of income. Well, I mean, it happened to me, so you better be ready, because, hey, somebody get one of your old phones, and the next thing you know, they done broke into your shit and kicked you out of shit. You better be ready. I mean, hell, cybersecurity is a real must. So if you ain't got access to accounts, you better get on top of that. Hell, I done lost one of the channels I had. I ain't gonna tell you which one, but hell, y'all notice that I ain't been posted over there one of these days. Then somebody will ask me in the future, what happened to that channel? I don't fucking know. Hell, it's doing good because it still gets views, but hell, I ain't posting nothing because I can't get into it. And that's one of the problems you don't want to have.
Kind of a lot of followers, so be sure to follow the smaller channel that's got like 136, 138 followers on there. Now, I do have the link to that in the description. The link to all my socials is going to be in the description and in the pinned comment down below, and just expand it, or you can just search the 420 scene on Twitch and you're gonna find me easily. We usually stream Dead by Daylight or Call of Duty Zombies in the afternoons on the weekdays. Question number 4, Sticky Skunk asks, what's the best way to keep mothers around in a small place? If you don't have a big place to work with, but you have something small like a 2x4 veg tent, you can always just use like a spare closet, and that would probably be your best bet if you don't have any room for an extra setup. Question number 5, Bradley Livestreams asks, when growing in soil, my last run had low pH soil, and I experienced nutrient lockout, which never fully resolved itself, and I think it's because I let the soil completely dry out in between each watering. I assume it's best practice to not let the soil completely dry out consistently in between watering. I was just waiting for my lady to give me a sign that they were thirsty, but all I got was acidic soil. Thoughts? If your soil dries out, that would not explain you getting nutrient lockout, but if your pH levels are off, that definitely has something to do with it. But I also need to know what your water's pH is as well. And what's your soil's pH anyway? You didn't mention that. These are all details that help me determine what you gotta do. Your plants do prefer it slightly acidic, and if your pH falls out of a specific range, they can't utilize all the micronutrients nutrients that they need. Now, as far as soil drying out, it really depends on what angle you're looking at. I personally like dry spells because it makes the roots stretch out a little bit more, which of course helps promote growth. But if you're running in living soil, you're going to kill the microbes if you let the soil dry out completely. I primarily focus on the plant's behavior. Now, you can always brew more compost teas if you're worried about your microbes dying out. You can always reactivate your soil or your grow medium. Side note to the dudes that's hating on me now because I called pro-mix soil instead of a medium. Well, yeah, no shit. It's a peat-based medium, but a lot of people that come across my channel are beginners and might not understand the term medium. It's fucking dirt, bro. And I never used a 720 watt light on those past runs. More like my ES300, which is 330 watts. So lots of misinformation on me out there. Question number 6, Calvin Gucci asked, is the banana tea the best type of tea for the flowering stage? I really like it. Plus the banana peels have more microbes in them than most of the fruit peels out there. So by implementing banana peels as your compost, you're introducing microbes and the molasses helps feed those microbes. Just to let you know that your molasses will bring down your pH a little bit. So if you live in an area where your water's pH is a little bit higher, then you don't have to worry about this as much. Now, if you're trying to run a compost tea, if your water's pH is neutral and you run a compost tea with the blackstrap molasses, it's going to drop you down all the way like 5.0. So in that kind of a scenario, maybe it would be best to just use the recharge, which I know has molasses, but it doesn't bring down your pH nearly as much as if you were to just use molasses by itself. I tested it. You're also bringing in the microbes by using worm casting. So what I like to do, 4 tablespoons of kelp meal, 4 tablespoons of unsulfured molasses in a 5-gallon bucket and brew for 36 hours. Make sure to add like 3 to 5 bananas. If you want to add more, you can. Most people recommend 24 to 48 hours of brew time, but if you're trying to lock it in, I prefer 30 to 36 hours. Now, of course, this takes some planning and preparation, but you know, if you know how to do math, you'll be able to figure it out. Question number 7, Caniculture asked, have you ever had a plant herm on you? And if so, do you believe it was stress-induced, genetics, or both? What are some tips to avoid herms? I'm not sure if it was a herm because I was still pretty new at growing, but I had a plant that looked so different than anything I've seen before. Like when it was flowering, it wasn't growing bud, but it wasn't producing seeds either. It looked closer to it being a female, but it just kept producing like non-stop hairs everywhere, and it never seemed to develop the way it should have. You know how the hairs, they tighten up and get that super nice bud structure? It wasn't anything like that. It was just, if you guys know what lion's mane is, it's an organic mushroom. It's in Magic Mind. I don't know if you guys take Magic Mind. I love Magic Mind. It's good stuff. Picture the lion's mane as just like bud hairs. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen before, so I don't know if that's considered a herm or some kind of insane genetical fuck up, markup, whatever you want to call it. But that's the only thing that came close to me herming. Question number 8, JPC67 Nova asked, have you ever used the pH test strips, and if so, what do you think of them? I'm partially colorblind, so I can't use them to differentiate pH levels on the strips, so I just use my Blue Labs pH meter my wife got me for Christmas of 2022. If you want more of these kind of videos, turn the notification bell on because you'll get alerted whenever I make a community post. And I do these Q&As once every 3 to 6 weeks, usually like 4 to 6 weeks though. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Before I do close off today's video, I want to thank everyone on screen who's been supporting us on Patreon. And for only $11.99 a month, you get instant access to our VIP Discord community, one-on-one grow help with me, and smoke sesh live streams. And to everyone else, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And as always, stay safe. Peace.
He's definitely got some good information in there. Hell, some of it. Uh-oh.
Mr. Nice Guy was blowing up, man. We got customers from all over New York.
No, not that.
We even stole a few from Samson.
Oh, what's up, nigga? Come on in, man. Come on, Wee, man. Thanks, baby.
Come on, Lee,
You know, Peter, don't get scared.
Yeah. What can I get you today, Smoky Light?
Lovely. Let me get a pound of your Swedish chiba.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
I told you
told me
to
to bring a lot of weed, man. Pound of my Swedish chiba. Don't get no better than that.
Smells with the bag, baby.
That's gonna be $9,600, bro.
See what I got here. Come on, man. Hang out for a minute and smoke with me. I got weed, got my bong out. Come on, son.
For you, man, I'll stay for a minute, but then I gotta be going.
You just tuck the money right in the backpack. So shit.
Man, Smoke a Lot opened up to me like I was Barbara Walters. It was ridiculous. He told me about his lawyer,
He had sex with my mama. Why?
spirituality,
God, if you listen, hell.
his bad back,
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
his love life.
I'm in for this, man. Get away from me, bitch.
I mean, talk about a guy with problems.
Tough break.
I can't take it too far.
No wonder he smoked a pound a week.
Somebody run.
So now we had a famous clientele, and
Green Eyes gonna miss you.
guess what else?
Call me this week. About weed.
Shout out to Neo Cannabis. I've been watching a lot of him on Facebook. Bro, been putting in that
Make
work.
trapping great again. 2025, that's all I'm pushing, bro. Let me lay out the blueprint on how we can do this as a collective. Because the industry is at an all-time low, bro. Let's just be honest. Unless we create some type of plan, some type of strategy to dig us out of this hole, there's no recovery for us, man. The industry is fucking cooked. I'm just keeping it 100, man. So let me lay you out this blueprint of how we can bounce back and make trapping great again, starting the second half of 2025. First, bro, we gotta step it up, man. Stop fucking growing mids. This is to you growers out there. Stop fucking growing mids. Stop that shit, bro. Mids are 80% of the market. Yes, we know that. We know most people do not want to spend their money, and most people don't have a lot of money to spend. However, if you go to the grocery store and you want to buy some milk or you want to buy some eggs, can you grab that milk or can you grab those 12 eggs and go to the front and be like, hey, I only want to pay $1 for eggs? No, you can't do that shit. So stop bending your prices to the custos, man. And the more that we level up the product, the more that we perfect our craft and start actually producing some fire, some real genetics, some
What
quality
up, Bill? Good to see you. How you
flower,
doing?
the more we can take a stand and be like, no, bro, we're not allowing you to pay $20 for this eighth because this is not a $20 eighth. However, either the custo knows or
Man, that's one thing I've always been quick to tell people. Like, if you're a new customer, I'm gonna give you whatever the fuck you wanted at the price you wanted that day. First time customer, I ain't gonna argue with you, but I'm gonna let you know. Hey, you just bought 7 grams for $20. I normally do that for 30. So when you call me, be ready for the 30. You see what I'm saying? But you got it for free. You got it for what you got it for the first time, not for free. If unless I knew you knew you. If I don't really. You never get nothing free from me. Hell, the fuck? Hell, you might be the police. You definitely got to pay if you're taking me to jail. Hell, I'm going to need that money to go in there with on canteen, hopefully. Shit, it wasn't a Mark bill, was it? And as Bill said, y'all do hit the YouTube algorithm, like the video. You know, this is shadow being content, so if you actually enjoy my narratives and side talk in the midst of a video. I got the big homie over here on pause. I start off each video on screen though, so that's a benefit to y'all. So y'all at least know who the narrator of the story is. He starts off on camera. It's not like those stories that you don't like, where this dude just be talking for no reason. I can't even see his face. He's a floating icon in the back. Nah, Popcorn's that guy, and I'll flip the camera around when I need to. That's why I tell you to go get the studio quality. So you can see me talking shit all day, which is another reason why I got to pause the video, because the actual studio quality is a little bit softer on my voice versus the video. So, I could be talking all damn day. You won't hear half the shit I say. But subtitles. Linda Elliott got the closed captioning on. I know that. Y'all know we members on her channel. Somebody gifted me a membership, so we appreciate that. I'm going to have to make sure in the morning when I first get into work, I'm going to have to go see what she's doing, because she's usually on her ride to work. You know how that goes. Support the people that support you. Like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, if you don't want to pay what my price is, you definitely ain't got to worry about calling me, because I definitely won't call you. You see what I'm saying? Because every time you call me, I'm like, well, you know what my numbers is, so Because if you don't know what my numbers is, that means you ain't paying attention. Because I try to keep my high ass numbers at least to be consistent. That's why they're higher than most other people's, because they're consistent. Shouts out to that part of the game. Consistent corn is a concept of my brain that I do self improve frequently. So, consistency can only get better. Well, how do you get better at doing the same thing? Well, you should know by doing it a lot that you can always be better. And if not, we'll work on that part of your brain because it might be the other half that you sold for that jelly roll. You dig?
There's too many mid trappers. There's too many people that shouldn't be in this game that got in this game for the wrong reason, bro. That's just what it is. A lot of y'all are just in the way. We got mid product. We got mid trappers, bro. That shit needs to go, or it has to be kept at a minimum. Yes, there's always going to be people that got to get weeded out. There's always going to be people that come and go. But right now, this is at an all-time high. We got people who have never had any type of hustle, have never owned no type of business, don't even understand business, but they call themselves a trapper. They don't understand what a profit and loss statement is. They don't understand how to create a marketing strategy. They don't understand how to effectively use social media to build their brand. They don't understand what a brand is. However, they think just because they bought an $800 bag and it was marketed to them as ZA, as indoor, when we know it wasn't, it's probably light assist, they think they're a trapper. These people, we gotta weed them out of the game. We gotta raise the standard of what it needs to be to become a trapper, bro. You can't just join the NBA. It's certain requirements and prerequisites that you need in order to become an NBA player. You have to be a top high school player. You gotta be a top college player. And then potentially, even then, it's not guaranteed. And then potentially, you may be able to make the NBA. However, with trapping, bro, anybody can become a trapper. There is no barrier to entry unless, sometimes you don't even need any money, bro. You can get a front. You can get a handout from a person that already got a handout. Yeah, that's how backwards it is. You can get a front from somebody else who got a front. From somebody else who got a front. It's 3 people who got fronts that shouldn't be in the game, but just because they've never been educated on what it really takes to be successful in this industry, they feel like they got something to stand on. And this is where I'm saying we got to raise the standard. We got to push for more quality. We got to stop with this quantity, bro, because this quantity has destroyed the market. There's more mids than ever. Yes, there's always going to be a place for mids. However, there isn't an oversaturation of quality product. There's an oversaturation of mids. And if most people are selling mids, which they are, what do you think that is going to do to the price? It's going to crash it because you have mids, you have mids, you have mids, you have mids. It's 20 different trappers in one small area. Everybody has the same product. Nobody has real quality product. Nobody has a brand. Nobody has a marketing strategy. Nobody has a social media following. So what else are they going to do to compete for the customer? They're going to fucking drop the price, bro. That's why I say we got to step it up, bro. This is natural selection, man. People come, people go. But over the course of time, the more people that go are people that shouldn't be here. And that's what we need to do once we raise the standard. And that's just going to happen naturally. But if we just allow the standard to be mediocre, that just allows for more mediocre people to be in the game and to be in this industry. So that's what I mean, man. We got to push out quality product, quality customer service, quality marketing strategies, quality branding. Everything's got to be top tier, bro. Because once people see like, oh, this is not something that I could just goof around and do on the side and this is fun. No, this is a real business. That's going to make the cannabis industry less attractive to the novice, to the people that are just looking for a little side hustle. Because anybody who really has made any significant income within this industry, everybody knows that this shit is not easy, bro. But it's been marketed by the music, on social media by certain influencers that it's easy to sell weed when it's not. Yes, anybody can sell weed, but anybody cannot be good at selling weed. Everybody is not going to be successful, bro. And we've allowed this to go on for too long, man. That leads into my next point. We got to take back control of the market. The trapper and the grower, bro. The custo does not control the market, and now the custo does, bro. In 2025, the custo controls the market. We've let the custo determine the prices for the market because we got all these fucking sloppy trappers. We got these people that put their last $5,000 into a bag, and then when they can't get it off, they're fire selling and cutting the prices into oblivion just to get off the bag so they can just break even or make $100, bro. It's not one person doing that. It's hundreds of people across hundreds of markets across America doing that same thing, bro, because we've allowed anybody and everybody just to come into this industry and become a culture vulture off of it. They haven't put in the work, bro. They haven't earned the right to sell a bag. But due to Telegram, due to social media, it's more accessible than it ever was. Due to technology, that's what's going to happen. Things become easier to get in, but that doesn't mean that it still is going to be attractive.
That's why I tell everybody I smoke my flower. I sell some wax though, but hell, y'all know how that goes. I mean, I like wax, but I prefer flower. So, I'm a blunt person. Whenever I'm ready to smoke, I'm thinking about a blunt. Now, as far as the wax goes, we got hooked up with a plug on that, as they would say. Shout out to the Missouri plugs. You see what I'm saying? We got them right here in state. So it ain't even really a problem. But you know how that be. Some people ain't got it. So, hey, get what you can and sell what you like. But yeah, like he said, man, it ain't about the customers. Customers go buy all day. Then they gonna complain because that's what customers do. They complain about having to spend money. Well, make more money and have what you want. Shout out to that part of the game because that's what we believe in. It ain't no problems. It's just solutions. Oh, if I need more money, either I'm gonna fix my credit. Because that's always a good investment. You dig? Shout out to that credit repair game. Once you learn that part of life, a lot of other things should be easier to you. But like I said, we got people out here that don't like solving their problems. So we got to look out for them because they're not actually solving problems. They just want to try to get a result. Like, well, no. 2 plus 2 is supposed to be 4. Okay, so I want 4, but I'm going to not put 1 and 3, 2 and 2, 5 and -1. They're not going to put nothing in that gets you 4. They're going to put in shit that don't actually solve the problem. Well, the solution is 4. So how do you get it? Show your work. Yeah, they don't know how to show their work because the numbers they was talking about ain't even the numbers that get you 4. Yeah, I got 2 numbers in my head that don't even give you a 4, positive, negative, or never. Shout out to 4 Never Records.
That's what I mean, man. Once we raise up the standards, bro, it's gonna make it way less attractive for these people to want to come and join, bro. The trapper and the grower, bro, we gotta take control back of the market. Man, the grower and the trapper sets the pricing for the market, bro. Like what I said, bro, you can't go into a grocery store and tell them what you want to pay. No, the grocery store puts, hey, eggs are $8, bro. Either take it or leave it. You think people are not gonna buy eggs? Same thing with weed, bro. You think people are not gonna buy weed? Bro, they are. It's an essential for most people, bro. And if we raise the quality of the weed, if it's more common to have higher quality weed, guess what happens to the price? The price shoots back up, bro, because there's more weed out here that is higher quality. There's no choice for people to buy, for the trappers to buy, for the customers to buy higher quality weed. So now that's what you gotta pay for the weed, bro. That's how it was 10 years ago, bro. But the main problem, bro, is that people are purposely growing mids. They're either purposely growing mids like the Chinaman, or they've been tricked. They've been bamboozled. They've been scammed. They believed in somebody who sold them some lights. some nutrients, some living soil, and told them that, oh, if you get all this, you're gonna grow exotic. They've been tricked, bro, but that's not how it works, bro. You need experience, you need the genetics. It takes time, bro. You can't just rush this. It's a process with anything in life. Just because you buy all this fancy equipment, you buy a 10,000 square foot.
I'm gonna have to program myself to every time I hear genetics that we're gonna have to start promoting the big homie. Shout out to our video sponsor, Son of Odom Seed Company. Trusted genetics from an Oklahoma smoker. We got a smoker in Oklahoma, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you need some genetics, let me know, because you know those are still under 0.3% THC, so those can still be mailed in the mail. Legally, no problems asked. You see what I'm saying? Send some seeds. Don't send flour, just send seeds. But you know, some of y'all be overstepping the fucking game. The game is you can send seeds. Don't send them weeds. Send them how to grow weed. The weed starter kit. You know what I mean? You gotta start with the seeds. Oh, your weed don't got seeds in it? Now we know you definitely don't know what you're talking about, because you know now seeds are great again. Shout out to that campaign. I'm gonna have to make that into one of them red Trump hats. You know, make seeds great again. Well, my seeds are great again, because like he said, genetics is what it's all about in the game. If you ain't got good genetics, you ain't gonna have shit cracking. And then if you can't continuously have the same good genetics, you really ain't doing nothing, because that's what he's talking about the growers. If you like the way your shit slapping and know that that's a good taste, boom, let's keep it trademarked. You see what I'm saying? You gotta keep it in bag seeds and keep it growing. But me being a grower, he's telling me how to get the grow operations up. I mean, I'm getting my consultations for free. Y'all got to pay for them, you dig? You see what I'm saying? Because if you don't know how to listen for free, you're going to pay to get retold the same shit I done already said that you could have just got for free when I was saying the shit for free. But you know how people are. They don't like to do nothing for free. It's got to be hard. It can't be that easy. You mean this professional, because this guy started a business, legitimate business in California, which is why he's running back through plays and game with everybody else, because he's got the EXP. He said, I made 1.7 on the business in a year. You see what I'm saying? I done did my thing. He over here making sure we all can come in and get a piece of the cake correctly. Not a small piece, that big dog piece. Like, nah, you ain't got to be the little dude if you don't want to be the little dude. You can be the big guy, because yeah, it's almost federally legal. Trump working on something. You'll see more about that if you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit up the video Saturday type shit.
Warehouse, that does not mean you're going to grow exotic, bro. It does not. It takes time, bro. You may have to invest 30,000 into a cut, bro. You may have to invest 30,000 into a cut. And then even after you invest that 30,000 into a cut, you got to figure out, is it going to take time to really understand how to best grow it, how to best maximize those specific genetics that you spent $30,000 on. But no, people want to rush this entire process, bro. You want to buy these seeds, this auto flower, bro. Why do you think you can grow better flower in a short amount of time, bro? How does that make any sense? You're telling me we can get a better quality product in a shorter amount of time? Who believes these lies? There's no shortcuts to anything. Anything great takes time, bro. But you let these snake oil salesmen trick you into believing this shit. 40 days, 40-day flowering time, bro. Why do you think that makes sense? It doesn't. Man, stop fucking growing those mids, bro. You mid-ass trappers. The door's right there, bro. If you know you're not supposed to be in this game, bro, get a job, bro. If you haven't made $35K in a year, get a job. If you can't make minimum wage from trapping, from this industry, it's not for you. I'm sorry, bro. There's no other way to put it. I don't know how else you want me to phrase it. This shit is not for everybody. Everything isn't for everybody. And that's what we've allowed. We've allowed the shit to be mediocre. We've allowed people to put out subpar product, to be subpar trappers, to have subpar customer service, to have subpar branding, subpar marketing, bro. We've allowed this for too long. So in 2025, we need to come together. The trapper and the grower needs to take back control of the market if we want to recover, if we want to dig ourselves out of this hole, and we want to see $40 ace, bro. We got to start growing the fire, bro. Stop growing this bullshit. Stop growing these mids. And once we do that, bro, we can make trapping great again. So if this video provided you with any type of value, please like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new. And until next time, peace. I'm out, man.
Everybody in New York was calling to get down with Mr. Nice Guy. We met all kinds of customers, like this guy here. He's what we call an enhancement smoker, because he thinks that marijuana makes every activity that much better.
Mi casa su casa.
Observe.
You're Scarface, right? I love Al Pacino, man. Did you ever see Scent of a Woman?
Yup.
You ever seen Scent of a Woman on weed? That's the way to see it, man. It's just whack.
$60, yo.
Cool, man. I got it. Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill, man?
No, I don't know, yo.
Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill on weed? Oh, there's some weird shit in there, man. There's a dude sitting in the bushes, man. Does he have a gun? I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man.
Man, you fucking crazy, yo.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out the stars later. It's really trippy. Especially on weed, man.
Today, I'm sharing some real pro tips on cloning. How to make sure your baby's root strong and never tap out. First, check this out. It's time to light it up. AC Infinity's Evo series. Every light in the series has a removable driver so you can keep the heat out of your grow space. And they are up on the Tech 3.14 U-moles per joule if you want to geek out. My favorite feature is the built-in timer on this. It has 10 brightness levels. You can do sunrise, sunset. It's right on the fixture. Super easy to use. No separate tab timers or any of that jazz. Check out AC Infinity's LEDs over at acinfinity.com. Coupon code DUDEGROWS will hook you up with these top-notch LEDs. They got a size for every grow.
Now, see, that's that type of shit that be getting on my nerves, because y'all know me. Why would you complain about the tab timers? They work, okay? Sure enough, you got to figure out if it's up or down, or if it's on or off. But once you get it figured out, those damn things work, okay? If you're not smart enough to figure out the tab timers, why the fuck are you even trying to grow? Hey, just book your boy. Book your boy. If you ain't good at growing, I'll come in and set all the shit up for you. Because like old buddy was saying, you got to know a good grower. But hell, if you get a consultation from your boy, hell, I'll come grow the shit for you. And you just pay me to make sure I show up so you got some shit at your house. Hell, shout out to content being available wherever it is. You know, we got NDAs with a couple people right now, so we ain't even talking about who's coming through to grow. That's why the grow disappeared real quick. That somebody said, yeah, I'm gonna need you to hit up this NDA for what I'm doing, so keep my shit to myself. You damn right I did it. You know what I mean? Shout out to the sponsored grows. I told you we make it pop around here. Anyways, what y'all doing? Let's see. We was gonna speed this video up because they like to talk a lot. I like these guys talking though, because hell, they're gonna hit you with a lot of information. So we're going up to 1.5. Volumes up. Up. Let's go.
To acinfinity.com. Coupon code DUDEGROWS will hook you up. Back to the show. All right, let's do this. Let's make some happy, healthy clones. First off, Scotty, we need the right tools.
Well, I got the right tool right here, man. It's my trusty pair of dirty scissors that I've had sitting around. At least they've got trichomes on them, man.
You can use scissors or razor blade to take clones. Both work well. Make sure you're using scissors. They're clean, they're fresh, they're sharp, they're good to go.
That's my big thing. First off, if we are in best practices, you are right. Scotty Real says you can use scissors and get away with it. Cannabis is not a difficult plant to clone. The theory behind it is why razor blade is preferred, because the scissors, even though they're sharp, you are squishing some of the plant material when you cut. With a razor blade, you really are making a sharp surgical incision, and yeah, I think that's a big deal. I think that's yours.
choose.
You need the nursery, the clone dome, the nursery. I always picture when you see a preborn baby at the hospital or something, a little incubator thing or whatever. It's like kind of the same thing. Yeah, you got to get an incubator for your plants, right? Let's get into the equipment. We got to get a clone dome. We got to get a happy place. Yes. All right, let's start with a really simple one. Grandma, you got that picture? Like a $15, $20 clone dome right there. It's got ridges in the bottom of it. You put a little bit of water in the ridges in the bottom, put your cubes there, and then the art is getting it to fill up with moisture. So it's just, the moisture is just, it's 90, or at least 90% humidity there, but it's just dripping off the top. And then as the roots grow, as the clones mature, you start opening those vents a little bit, and that's how you clone, man.
And you gotta get that humidity. It's generated by what the number one item I think we both agree on for success is a heat mat. I mean, unless you're putting in a really hot area, that doesn't even matter. Having that heat right at the root zone is a great place for it.
Yeah, you're evaporating that water that's sitting, as remember I said, real important to have some water in those channels. Well, now you're heating that water to whatever it is, 90 degrees. It's evaporating up. I don't know if it's 90. I think it's 90. Hope not. That's really hot. But it's evaporating up, and then don't forget these plants, these clones have no roots, so they have to get all their moisture through the air. So by having it super humid, they're able to get they're able to stay alive long enough to make these roots.
I like it. One other piece of equipment I dig on is a hygrometer. Hygrometer basically is a digital thermometer. It'll tell you your temperature and humidity, and that most all of them will remember the highest and lowest points they got to. I love to walk by my dome and to be able to say, good, all right, I'm at 84% humidity. I'm at 82 degrees. These ones right here are really sweet from Mondi. These actually attach right to your dome. They're totally out of the way, and they monitor the environment in there, which is knowledge is power of that sense. It'll tell you, like Scotty said, when you maybe need to add a little bit more water to those bottom trays to keep that humidity way up, because humidity needs to be up above 80.
Yes, but dude's Mr. Knowledge, Mr. I want facts, data. No, I'm just kidding. Man, I just kind of hide. I've been growing for 30 years. I plugged the heat mat right into the wall. I mean, you can buy a thermostat or whatever. I plug it right into the wall. I put my chamber right on top, and if I don't have mist coming off the top of that chamber, I know something's wrong.
I'll bet. And so we just mentioned a heat mat, a clone dome, the hygrometer. You can also get all this shiz in one place. I want to shout out quickly to AC Infinities. Their setup has everything you need: the dome, the lights, the tray. The lights already come with the built-in timer for your light cycle.
Yeah.
They're dimmable because as your clones go up, you can increase that light intensity. Once you have some roots starting, you can bring it up and get more performance out of it, but you barely need any. If you want to talk PPFD real quick, like 150 to 180 for clones, very low.
It's even high. You can start at 75, 100. It really does depend. But yeah, you're right. Before too long, you want to get them up above 100. And then don't forget, it's a progression. So as the clones are growing, when they have no roots, they're weaker than once they're rooted in a small plant. So yeah.
What life cycle? 24, 18 on.
Me and you were getting into this earlier, and I hate to say this, but I think you were right, man. I leave mine up 24 hours a day for simplicity. I can go in there any time of the day or night and grab some clones, and it works. But there's behind it. Say it again.
That theory behind it is having. I said that definitely works. I mean, if you are going 24, you're still going to have success. 18 gives a little bit more of a rest period. If you know the show, you know me. I like sleep. I think plants like sleep. Also helps them develop their roots just a little bit better when they have that rest and that downtime.
No. See, that's what they're fucking up and telling people, because right there, the dark time is when the roots do most of their work. You see what I'm saying? So you don't want to just leave it on 24/7, because, the roots will work day or night, but whenever it's dark time, they actually do more pulling in of water to send up, because that's what happens during the daytime. The plant's building up energy to what? Work overnight and pull water. You see what I'm saying? So you giving it zero time off, it's having to just suck and pull water as it's using energy, which might be good, it might be bad. Hell, it depends on how the plant responds to it. But that's you and that plant, y'all gonna have to have some time together. You see what I'm saying? You don't just get one plant and then grow it all the way out and never do nothing else with it. Nah, you cut clones, and then you flower the clones, so therefore you still got the mother, because it's gonna be big and robust, because by the time you actually flower this one, it's not gonna have no stretch to it, because it's already a tall, abundant plant. You see what I'm saying? The plant's like, oh yeah, I done got big. He done cut hella clones off of me. Hell, he done stole 6, 7 2 or 3 different generations. You see what I'm saying? 6 or 7 each time. So you know, as a plant get big, it'll get big. Yeah, but you know how to take care of mothers. We covered that in the video and the playlist. Pick a playlist because we got plenty of them.
Yeah, it's not just that, it's it's not just a preference or a feeling. There's fact there is when the plant goes to sleep, it's not actively photosynthesizing anymore, grabbing light and breaking it down and making sugar out of it. Instead, it's taking what it made that day and pumping it down to the roots to feed the roots. So you are going to get better rooting at 18 hours a day. A lot of times people will leave them on 24 hours a day in the beginning just to kick that little, make that callus and start kicking those roots, just getting them going. And then after that, adjusting to 18 hours probably is smart, dude. Might actually take your advice.
No way. All right, talk about your tips on taking these cuttings from a happy, healthy mother plant, well-hydrated mother plant, donor plant, whatever you got. Want to make sure that thing's healthy as can be, pest-free, hydrated, fully nutrated. I don't think that's the word, but I'm making it happen.
Man, I was in my grow last night. That was actually 2 nights ago, and I'm looking and I'm just resetting everything. I'm saving clones, and I've got just all my genetics in solo cups, so I can bring them out of the room. I'm rebuilding the room, and I look and I've got one plant that I'm about to kill. It's an emergency, which was the DGC Cup winner. It's just an amazing strain, and I'm like, dude, I don't have any clones. And I just abused this plant to where it looks terrible. I threw everything else out. So, man, I have to, instead of just taking a clone off it, I have to rehab this thing, get it to where it's super healthy, and then I can take a cut. And by the way, if you have something like hop-latent viroid or something that is internally in the plant, you can clone all you want, man. You're going to fix it.
Taking these cuts, man, once you take them off the plant, if that's your final cut, you have to get them immediately into your grow media. You don't want to have those sitting out. One way I do this, I have a big wide mouth jar. I take all my cuts off my plant. This isn't my final cut. Let's say they're about 6 inches long. I'm putting them all in that jar that just has water in it, or if you have cloning solution, you can have your cloning solution in that mixture. I have them sit in there. I thin them back. I trim them how I want them, and then I'll take it out quick. Final cut, bam, right into my media immediately.
Yeah, super hydrated plant. The idea is you don't want it to suck up an air bubble. If that plant is thirsty and you cut it, and all of a sudden it sucks up an air bubble, that's enough to completely disrupt the clone, and it'll kill the clone. Yeah, so you definitely want well-hydrated plants. I'm going to spray the plants with the spray bottle anyway when in the clone dome. So I'll spray them while they're still on the stem, on the plant. Wait a little bit for that plant to hydrate it real good. Then I'll take my cut. And you're right, if I got a whole bunch of cuts to do, I'll just take a bucket of water and I'll just throw them in there. Sometimes I'll make them even longer, so that I can go back as soon as I've got all my clones and everything set up, make the cut. Then that's when you can take the razor blade and do your diagonal cut and scrape the side to get that cambium layer going, and then dip them in your gel, and then immediately in your on the cube and into the clone dome.
Scotty likes the gel. I'm usually not like this. I use the rooting powder as well. Obviously, whatever you're working with, take a little bit out. Yeah, don't be cross-contaminating, dipping in jars of rooting powder. Rooting powder is good forever, and it's super cheap. $5 thing of rooting powder probably to do like 500 cuts.
It is. All these are. All these are is IBA. It's some kind of chemical, indobutolic acid. Yeah. 100, man, 110%, bro. It's the internet, right?
Some comments below. Let us know your cloning tips.
Yeah, come on. If you dug this video, hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button and share this one with another grower you know that doesn't know how to clone. And check out the other couple of videos YouTube's recommending. We hope you dig them.
Hey, bro, which city would you live in? Gotham City or Metropolis? That's easy. Gotham City. What? Why Gotham City? Because think about it like this. Most of the problems you'll run into in Gotham, especially the villains, can easily be dealt with by keeping a strap on you. No, that's a lie. I don't believe that. Bro, the only people you really have to worry about is Clayface, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Bane, and Killer Croc. everybody else is fair game. Because I know for a fact, Joker, Penguin, Harvey Dent, Scarecrow, and everybody else in this motherfucker is not bulletproof. I know that shit for a fact. I mean, you do have a point on that. But Metropolis, hell no, you'll die within the first week. I mean, if Superman is Metropolis, doesn't that count for anything? And look at Superman Rogues Gallery. Metello, Atomic Skull, Lex Luthor, Brainiac. Last time I checked, a lot of these motherfuckers are bulletproof. The fuck is a gun gonna do to that shit? That is true. Exactly, so I'll take my chances in Gotham City, bitch.
Shouts out to Gotham.
Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for checking in our latest Trade to Black podcast. I am your host, Shad Dales. Well, it's been about 2 weeks since the news came out of Washington regarding regulation and the hemp industry and how it's going to be a 1 year timeline. So what happens next and what are some of these companies going to do as far as preparing themselves over these next 12 months? And really, what's the chatter amongst the hemp industry right now? So we're going to dive into that on this morning's Basically podcast and find out more on what we can learn about the other side, which is the hemp side, as many companies are, like I said, gearing up for changes that are going to take place over the next 12 months. So with that, let's welcome in AV, and good to see you. How are things?
Good. Ready to dive into a conversation on a product that I truly do like.
Happy Apple, you're talking about?
Hemp beverages, Happy Apple generally, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say. With that, let's welcome in John Kubert, CEO of Nevis Brands, back to the podcast. Good to see you. Second time on the podcast, but we got some good responses from you from the first one. How are things? How are you enjoying your summer? And I know you got back from a big conference in Atlanta, which was telling for the hemp industry. And that was in and around the time the news came out from Washington regarding this timeline of 12 months. And surprisingly, some of the feedback that you'd mentioned to Anthony and I was that a lot of the hemp players within the industry are open arms and accepting this and actually agree with it. So maybe elaborate off of that a little bit more on some of the things that you heard while you were at this conference, because arguably it's one of the biggest conferences for the hemp industry across the U.S. Annually. So maybe touch on that a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. First off, thanks for having me back. Great to be here. Good to see you both. Summer's going great. And yeah, aside from some mild dread going to Atlanta in July, it was fantastic to get to the Hemp Beverage Alliance and their conference, which coincided with the Beyonce concert, which was kind of an interesting mix.
Oh, okay.
For us all, lots of interesting people in the same location as the conference.
In Atlanta.
But yeah, the Hemp Beverage Alliance is a relatively newly formed group. It's been around for a couple of years as hemp beverages have sort of grown in popularity, and this is the second annual conference that they've done. And it did coincide with a lot of the regulations coming down, a lot of the different messaging that came out of Washington and elsewhere. Texas was still sort of brewing as well. So, when you go to these conferences, you do get a lot of, people are always looking at the glass half full. People tend to spin things a certain way. But truly, I think some of the messaging that came out is, okay, we had this year for people to get things figured out. People look at Texas almost as a proxy, I think, for the federal level of there's going to be people saying we want outright bans. There's going to be people saying we need to do this to protect the kids. We got to get rid of these products altogether. But then you also have other people, I would call them the saner minds, who are strongly appealing for, no, this industry has inertia, here to stay. Inertia is a big thing. I think just American politics and where something is there and going relatively well, it's very difficult to put it back in the box.
That motherfucker hit back.
So people saw this year-long quote, we're going to wait a year before we ban it, as, no, this is a year for the federal level to come up with their equivalent of, SB 43, which is sort of the bill that's going through Texas right now in terms of regulation. Now, is it going to be the same as SB 43? No. But the tea leaves would appear that this is a year for democracy to run its course, for Congress and the Senate to battle it out, and to come up with something that the hemp industry definitely wants, and that is regulation and standards. We're all craving that. We all want to build products that are safe, accessible, and fun. But just, tell us what the guidelines are, and we'll provide them. I think, at Nevis, that's how we like to operate. We operate in 10 regulated markets, and rules are good. It sort of levels the playing field.
Where
the
my
hemp
notebook
industry
at?
is
Because I'm
still
over here
very much
thinking
Wild
about some
West.
shit because I done got
And
high.
I think the people who are doing the most volume truly want some guidelines on,
You know, we don't
how
like
to
to
build their
waste good
businesses and
ideas
treat
for
consumers
nothing.
fairly.
Yeah.
Within the industry and within this next year-long period, is let's say we get things figured out. Texas has some sort of clear direction. The Farm Bill has some sort of clear direction. How much influence do you think the alcohol industry has on the future of hemp versus the actual operators that are currently in the hemp space? It's been no secret that the WSWA has done fly-ins to DC. The alcohol industry is lobbying in Texas. They see beverages. They love beverages. It's going to be a growth driver for their business moving forward. How much influence do you think they have on this, on moving forward?
I'd almost first ask the question back, then I'll comment, is when's the last time we've seen the alcohol lobby lose? I mean,
Correct.
It's one of the most powerful groups in the country, and for good reason. I mean, they make a lot of money, they donate a lot of money, a lot of people full time in Washington. So, you know, do I talk to the WSWA? I don't. I don't have a direct line into them. Certainly, distributors that were at the show all tend to give the feedback that absolutely they are fighting, they're lobbying. There's too much at stake. You know, you have, I think, Shad, you might get to this later. We're chatting about, I think, on the last show where I was talking about bottle shops in North Carolina, South Carolina, some of them saying that, you know, half the revenue is coming from THC. You had a Top 10 Liquors, which is based in Minneapolis. They had a banner behind one of the booths that said, hemp THC beverages now represent 10% of our sales, but someone had taken a sticky note and changed it to 20 because that's how much it had changed.
I believe it.
Since they made the banner. So, you know, if you translate that to WSWA and they're looking at a segment of their business that's now growing, B 20% of their revenue, it's pretty difficult to see a scenario where they don't go full guns in pushing for regulation. And definitely pushing against any sort of outright ban. So,
right,
huge component of our industry.
Why do you think this is growing so much? Question really for both of you. Like, we've talked about this a lot, Anthony, as well. But John, it's just 10, 20% sales. Like, I understand consumer trend behavior and how it changes. And when something new comes on, it grows. But these are some pretty staggering numbers. And when you look at the hemp industry as to how much it's grown over the past year to 2 years, it's mind-blowing. But at this pace, like, this is probably one of the main priorities why big alcohol and in some ways big tobacco, this has on their radar. But is this a short-lived growth, or is this just going to keep on going for a long period of time, John?
Well, I think the growth of hemp-derived beverages is the second part of the equation. The first part of the equation was consumers deciding they didn't want to drink as much. Mm-hmm. And you know, it probably wasn't reported as more flower and more smoke, and people were turning to cannabis. And there was, I think, some more anecdotal or they were sort of pairing the numbers of cannabis is growing, alcohol is going in. I think because it's the nature of a beverage, you know, humans, it's kind of wired in our DNA. Socialized beverages are sort of how we've done it for a long time. I think people start drinking less. I think people are seeking out alternatives, and hemp-derived beverages sort of. I want some light intoxication. I don't want to get destroyed. I don't want to be out of my head off after a long day or a fun weekend. And it appeared at the right time. It appeared at the time when alcohol was coming down and people were seeking a replacement, and it's filled that need. And just a quick follow-on to that, it's, you know, because we have tons of samples, we're talking to people. If you talk to someone who is sort of laying off the booze, tell them about hemp THC, not a cannabis user. I mean, I think when all the hype was going on in cannabis in Canada 10 years ago, there was all this talk of the soccer mom and the curious canna, and it's taken a while, but these 5 milligram, 10 milligram beverages are finally what the quote soccer mom was actually looking for to be able to chill out and just relax. So
Interesting.
I think sort of all that whole confluence of people drinking less, looking for an alternative, and the right products appearing that actually fill a wellness, that's what's brought us to where we are.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, when you look at some of these stats that have grown, I can understand that you announced last week a new distribution partnership with a company. It's called ZT Distribution. So this is a storied liquor channel operator, covers Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. So tell us a little bit more about what they are and maybe a deeper distribution reach within the 3 states I just outlined, because this is a distribution company that's been around for quite some time, as to what you outlined.
Yeah, it's a sort of transformative and a fast growth in terms of we think revenue, but also just in terms of establishing ourselves in a ZT has been around for 100 years. This is a company that has distributed everything from leading beef jerky brands to leading the Celsius-like beverages and so forth. So nothing to do with cannabis until now. So they've built their business being one of the best distributors to over 1,000 grocery stores and some liquor stores, but grocery stores in the Midwest. So I think they understand merchandising, they understand the consumer, and obviously some really strong relationships with grocery stores. So they recognize what's going on in this segment. They're looking for products, and I'm here to give some light plugs. Happy Apple, all natural, no preservatives, great flavor. And when they
So it's funny you said grocery stores and liquor stores. Yeah, because I keep on telling you that's going to be our cheat code. That's how we going to just slide right through. I mean, it's got a, what do you say? It's got 10-foot vertical. Your raps get pimp slap. You kicking bubble gum. You know how we talk that shit around here. Hey man, it's gonna be popping out here. It's a prickly business. Shouts out to the video title, because we got to make it make sense for the people that's just coming in and hitting that like button. Do the YouTube thing, subscribe, comment, let me know you here watching, because the algorithm probably don't like me, so it don't like recommending me. But if you watch me, then it's gonna keep pushing my shit to you. And I got more for you, like Uncle Ray say. Hell, we keep it cracking all day. You know what I mean? I'd go live every day if y'all was actually paying a little bit more attention. But since y'all ain't, I won't. But you know how we do. I got Spider Pig, TWP, the Cultivation channel, NFG. I'm already 4 YouTube channels deep out here in these streets, but you know how it goes. We busy. We still actually do regular people stuff too. Hell, we got a day job, and we be out in them streets active whenever we need to be, because homework. You dig? Shouts out to that part of the game. If you ain't working from home, you definitely need another consultation. Hell, we could be getting you all of that and more from this fucking couch. From the couch, up with the play. Nah, we'll be in the office at the desk. This ain't a desk. We're in the office, but I'm at a laptop. It's not in my lap either, so, good angle on the camera.
looked at this product, they actually saw this not as living with, the intoxicating beverages like beer and wine and so forth. They see this actually being put in like produce aisles, next to the fruit, because this is a fruit-based beverage. So I'm not going to say that's
really
where we're going to be placed, but yeah, it's they view this as, again, part of this consumer seeking health, consumer seeking alternative, and it's a pretty cool deal for us to be able to work with a company with this amount of experience. Again, we built our business with a different brand called Major, which is a high dose 100 milligram cannabis shot sold at dispensaries, and we've done well at that. That's the backbone of our business. That's most of our revenue to date. But to be able to layer on this true CPG opportunity to be in all these regular grocery stores with one of our products, it's really cool from, again, just a distribution standpoint, but also a growth standpoint, and learning about how the consumer is going to be able to interact and operate with our beverages.
Do you see that as a endorsement of cannabis being part of, let's say, a wellness regimen, or cannabis being a wellness product? And also, is there any color you can give as per the grocers that the distributor will be putting the products into? Or is it major chains? Is it boutique grocers? Any color you can add around that?
Yeah, I would love to say a couple names. I can't on this particular discussion, but I would say the chains that we're working with are what you call as super regionals, people with 10, 20, 30 stores. Maybe not the 1,000-store behemoths that some of us all know, but certainly anyone living in Milwaukee or Chicago would know who these stores are. And yeah, sorry. And what was the first part? What was the first part?
Is this where you start to see corporate recognition for cannabis being a wellness product, especially being in the perimeter of the store within the fresh produce section? I mean, to me that's an endorsement.
That's huge.
As to where this product should be living.
I think the consumers in Minnesota and Wisconsin are the ones who have endorsed this. And they've endorsed it so much that it's too big to ignore. So, yeah, when it's been sold in typically liquor stores and sort of alternative smoke shop type places, but Minnesota was on the leading edge of putting hemp beverages squarely in the liquor store, and I think when owners of grocery stores see how people are consuming this, similar to beer but with much higher growth. It's just too big to ignore it. I haven't spoken to the CEOs of these different grocery store chains. I mean, for all we know, some of them are not thrilled to endorse it. Maybe they're old school, and maybe they still see cannabis as sort of some kind of evil. I doubt that's the case, but it's possible. I just think it's at a point where the consumers are the ones driving this, and it's just getting too big to ignore.
Yeah.
So
What up, sis,
in the
boss?
produce section, it's going to be in-store
You need
signage
help
plus
on
product
that AC
placement right
unit
there in the
today?
produce section.
Yeah, you want to sort of think end caps, floor stands, displays.
Hopefully so.
A
Can't
couple
have
days a
y'all
week,
sweating
maybe
out in
getting
that
people
hot
sort of demoing,
box.
telling people about our product. Of course, us and most of your listeners, we all know what the effects are, but it is still surprising when you talk to someone walking through and saying, "What's this?" and it's hemp THC. You still get questions where people say like, "Oh, do you get hungover? How high am I going to get? How long does it take?" Like it's all the baseline. There's still a ton of education. And I think actually that's what brands, and that's what I'm sort of most excited about with this partnership with CT, is the opportunity to educate new consumers and lead with our brand.
Speaking of education, has there been any talk of any sort of consumer sampling or experiential within the grocers, or that's down the road?
See, she said she had to tell.
I think we're going to hold off on the sampling. I'd love it if it got to that point. But I think at the moment we're going to hold off on that. I think it's to get the placement.
Half brother Kevin.
Well, as they say, if you want to live a long life, stick to the outer aisles at a grocery store. You don't want to be stuck in aisle 8 beside Count Chocula. But that's telling to say
but I definitely network with somebody that
it's
does
just another
know how to do that
example
shit. You know me.
as to
That's one of
how
those
this
things I got
industry
coming
is
up.
growing, and I'm sure there are a lot
I
of
know
questions. There
everybody I
should be a
know
lot of
went to
questions
school
off the
for,
top,
so.
but when you're getting
'Cause I
that kind of
called in.
placement in
Shit,
the
let's
produce
get thinking
section,
about
you're a
being a homie.
standalone all by yourself, and it's definitely going to grab a lot of people and consumers' interest. But maybe share some of the early performance metrics you're tracking, like SKU placements, velocity, maybe repeat orders when it comes to a lot of this stuff, and what you anticipate from it.
So with this particular deal, it's not launching until mid-August, so we've got a couple weeks before I can report on this.
It's good to see you at the
Looking backwards at our
trips,
3 other
Shout out
states,
to
North
the
Carolina,
Tellers.
South Carolina, and a little bit of Texas.
Weekend in Vegas in
But
the
then, of course, we
room,
launched
so.
Happy Apple right when the Texas sword rattling was going on. So
they do go down there
not as
all
deep in
week
Texas,
kicking it.
when we look at stores in North Carolina, South Carolina, it's
be straight on
similar
my work.
CPG metrics as
You know how we do.
as
We
any
got a
brands.
to-do list to get done.
Looking at velocity, looking at reorders, looking at new
Oh,
accounts.
now I see
how
why
fast
he was
those
at
new
home
accounts
all year.
reorder,
He knew he was
how
going to be
well
spending
can
the
you
week in
service
Vegas.
those
He was doing his
accounts that have the highest velocity.
THING.
So, unfortunately,
talking
sometimes
about?
the ones who are selling the most often actually require the least service because they're happy, it's selling, ship us more, etc. The ones who are struggling are the ones, not struggling, but maybe your product isn't moving as quickly. Those are the ones that you have to put the most effort into, whether it's a vendor day or a demo day or giveaways or discounts. which we try and shy away from. But it's 80-20 rule is still in full effect. We're in, I'm going to say, a couple hundred stores in North Carolina, South Carolina, and the top 25% drive most of our volume. I'd say probably the top 15% drive most of our volume. And you got to take care of those stores, and
Yeah.
they ask us to jump, and we do it.
Yeah. Another stat I'm going to share for our viewers out there as to how much this industry is growing. Put into context, top 10 liquors in Minnesota recently reported of their total beverage sales are now hemp-derived THC drinks. So another stat. So in the markets you're in right now for Happy Apple, are you seeing kind of the same trends as far as the growth, popularity, and really a lot of the revenue that's being tracked, sales pertaining to it, because that's your number one signature drink in the hemp industry? But are you seeing that in the markets you're operating and selling right now?
But in case y'all didn't know what part of the video this is Big Alcohol Wants Hemp. This is why I said the video title was Prickly Business, because, hey, we've already had talks about how they're trying to go ahead and congregate tobacco, alcohol, and weed all in the same effect. So therefore, that's why I'm giving y'all the strategy on how to win on that area. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to your monetization coach, because I'm trying to let y'all know. We're going to go get us a little liquor store, because those are easy to get. You see what I'm saying? Y'all look at how much it costs to start a liquor store compared to a dispensary, and then you get back to me on your next consultation right there. You just made everything else affordable. Like, oh, I could actually do this. Yeah, yes, sir. 6 Bow's going to get her a liquor store. Hell, she going to be selling Cupid skincare right there at the liquor store. She, hell, doing both at the same shop. I got a liquor store, and then I got that card for the institution. Oh shit! Let's talk about having a meeting. Oh yeah, them drinks go out the door. That's why I said, hell, you get you a liquor store now. Hey, shit, liquor stores for to be where it's at. And then the only thing you gotta remember is later on when shit does become back readily and easily acceptable, you can still have a liquor store in the same spot that you already had it in. So you can find a spot close to home, get you that liquor store, and go ahead and go. Hell, buy that one gas station and let them people know, hey, I'm trying to buy the place. Yeah, buy the place. Y'all go start over and do it all over again, because this is my liquor store now. You just buy out y'all shop. Hell, y'all ain't finna do what I'm finna do. You ain't talking about business moves out here, but that's why I said alcohol wants to buy hemp. That's why they keep talking about alcohol companies and how they're getting a lot of money off of hemp, because they ain't selling alcohol. Because guess what? People that like to solve their problems don't drink alcohol all the goddamn time. We smoke weed and go out and network. You see what I'm saying? Be sitting at home watching popcorn like, man, shit, who in the chat? Oh, yeah, let me make sure I link up with 6 Bow's, because 6 Bow's in the chat again. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will come through, do some networking one of these days, because that's what we do. Anyways, back to the video, because they still got 37 minutes, and we at 13, so we still going. I might have to roll up again.
So for us, we have sort of 2 or 3 dynamics at play. As a company, we're seeing massive growth because we had 0 revenue from hemp 12 months ago.
Right.
So for us, launching this product, seeing the size and interest, just sort of give a comparison. When we're selling major in our dispensary markets, we're selling, 3 or 4 cases, 12 product cases at a time. In this industry, it generally sells by the pallet. You're shipping pallets to stores, or half pallets to stores. So it's margins are a little different, but it's a whole different scale. So as a company, we're saw some great initial growth. I think we're seeing a second wave of growth in North Carolina and South Carolina. Reasonably happy with the reorders that happen. But what I'll also say is, with growth and opportunity and momentum, there are a lot of brands that we're competing with, that everyone's competing with, and there is definitely a feeling of brotherhood, sisterhood. When you go to these conferences like the Hemp Beverage Alliance, everyone's talking to each other, trying to support each other, sharing different ideas. But nonetheless, you still saw, I would say, 50, 60 different brands at that conference. When you walk into one of the stores that we're in North Carolina, you're still seeing yourself positioned against 20 or 30 other products. And when you wrap that in with sort of some lacking consumer education, it's going to take, I think, still more time before this really takes off. I mean, I think these 10, 20% numbers you're hearing from top 10 liquors, it's exciting because I think it is sort of just the start because people still are getting their heads around this. But yeah, to answer your question, we're seeing reasonably good sell-through. For us as a company, it represents really high growth. I think overall the industry is growing, but yeah, it's there's still competition. It's not like you can run the table in these places.
In terms of marketing, like how are brands approaching that? Because you make a great point. When I go into Total Wine, me personally, I can differentiate between the products. I've seen most of them. I know what I'm going there to buy. Someone that is just passively seeing it or going there because they understand hemp beverages are going to be there. How are brands marketing? Are you leveraging, let's say, like geolocated ads that are driving people into brick and mortar with certain offers that are partnered with these retailers, or just doing passive advertising that's driving people into brick and mortar? How are you educating them before they get in there? Because unlike the dispensary model where they have bud tenders that are sitting there that you can then go do sales programs and educate those bud tenders, there's really no first line of defense. It's kind of just open season for what that consumer is going in there and ultimately choosing to purchase.
Well, I think the biggest marketing driver is it's not to go one-on-one on this, but it's have a product that has a unique selling proposition that stands out and stands for something. So, and I'll get to sort of some of the other things, the tactical stuff like geofencing and marketing. But when you look at that shelf at Total Wine, I mean, and I'm sure you've seen products that are just, they're so proud to be a THC beverage and they lead with that. It's like weird brand name, hemp-derived THC beverage. But then you look at it closer, like, what is this going to taste like? What is this? Is it sparkling? Is it still? Is it? I think there are some brands that haven't really looked at this as you've got to, again, do your NBA 101 of do some messaging on what you stand for. In the case of Happy Apple, we stood for flavor, all natural, no preservatives. We led with that. That's an important component of our product. So there's also products that I see that are like, hey, we are 0 calorie and we're adding melatonin, or we're adding other mushroom adaptogens and so forth. Like those are great. I think those are key to marketing in this category. So I think that's the baseline thing, but which you think everyone would be doing. But I think I'd say a third of cannabis beverages you see on the shelf, you don't really stand for.
It's puzzling because I go in there and 30% of the flavors, I'm like, what were you guys thinking? Like, not to call out, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but I just see so many floral additives and like things like cardamom and huckleberry and lavender. And I'm like, guys, simple. You're correct. Simple and natural, which I also suspect that the consumer, especially a first-time consumer, they're not educated enough to go in there and see, I'm getting natural or am I getting synthetic? What's the difference? And how can I even differentiate that? Which I do think is going to become paramount moving forward, because I'm seeing a lot of beverages pop up that look like they're health conscious, look like they're health forward, but they're not all natural. And they're not preservative free. And a lot of these consumers, especially from a wellness perspective, which is probably why you were able to command that placement in the fruits and in the produce section, was because you're all natural and preservative free, because there's a lot of brands that aren't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Got to figure it out for themselves, unfortunately.
So beyond that, I think things like doing them, it's hard enough to market. The other marketing tactics, I mean, I think the online marketing with geofencing, that'll be great when we have a little more free reign to do what we all want to do on Meta and Google. But it's hard enough to market, even just to drive people to buy from your own website. There's a bunch of different tactics that you have to do to be able to do that successfully. So I think the marketing tactics that we're relying on are going to be a little more traditional in terms of, good-looking networking people, standing by our product, telling people about it,
Of course.
Offering incentives, maybe a little bit of couponing to be able to drive some demand. I think contests are a really fun way to drive product curiosity as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your main demo for Happy Apple?
Yeah, it's 25 to 35, and we lean the marketing towards the female, towards.
You do.
But it's sort of lean the marketing towards females without alienating males. So it's softer, it's more fun. I mean, we'll never have. Again, I have to compare it to our marketing with Major. Major is it's such an OG high dose product that we'll do a lot of the typical cannabis marketing with that. Happy Apple, you're gonna we're always leaning towards people at a barbecue, women having fun together,
Gotcha.
people outside, people at maybe a beach or maybe a rave, but this is a fun, upbeat product about enhancing life. It's not about escaping life and zoning out. This is about enhancing and having fun. So Major is much more male oriented. It is heavy high and like let's get after it, sort of like Captain Morgan, if you will. Happy Apple is I shouldn't say we tilt female. It's just it's a much softer approach. With all due respect to strong women.
I think you just said one of the most important things. It's enhancement versus escapism, because that's something that no one really talks about, or I haven't heard yet, and it makes complete sense. And it's where the category needs to go, because THC, cannabinoids at certain doses are there to enhance things, sure as hell not escape them. People use them for escapism, but yes, at that high dosage, things that most people can't handle. But the enhancement angle versus the escapist angle needs to be much broaderly talked about as it relates to these products.
Yeah, this is sometimes our industry is trying to remake the wheel when the wheel has been created by Anheuser-Busch and everybody else. They've never ran ads about get bombed. They run ads about enjoying the game. And frankly, it's healthy. That's how life should be.
Well, that's just it. It's about building a lifestyle, and that's how you build a brand, right? We've seen Brady Cobb from Sunburn. He, has incorporated that with the Florida lifestyle. But I think that's the key. And then once you identify basically who your demo is and find out what their lifestyle is, it's just, you're right. It's enhancement versus escapism. And who wants to deal with a hangover? What you do as far as a marketing campaign around that, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you could explore and entertain, but it comes down to the name, the logo, everything about it to stand out, because if you're trying to attract new consumers into this industry, a lot of questions are going to come. What is it? How does it make you feel? All this stuff.
You think about I'm dreaming a little bit here, but Super Bowl ads are the cultural divining rod for us. And if you think about a Super Bowl, of course, everyone in our industry uses the no hangover, but for a reason, because there is no hangover. But if someone were to run a Super Bowl ad of people enjoying a hemp beverage outside having fun, with some light education that like cannabis isn't about getting you totally high. Cannabis is about enhancing your life, and just if we got to that point. With a little bit of federal guidelines and regulation and standards, and we saw some flashpoints with ads like that, it'd be just a huge thing for us.
But like I said, it's not a bad thing that cannabis is going to be moved over into the alcohol sector, which the big alcohol companies are going to be trying to do their thing and blah, 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 blah. Yes, they're going to get their turn. But that's why I said it makes it easier for us also, because at the same time, if you have dispos and then you have alcohol companies that are going to be the main sources of places where you can legally operate, it's easier to start up a fucking liquor store. I keep telling y'all, we going to solve the problem. We ain't going to complain about it. We just going to accept that gift and run with it. That's the new loophole, right? Legitimacy. Do your business like you're supposed to. Everybody sitting here crying, well, alcohol's going to come in and take over. Hell, last time I checked, motherfucking Ciroc is hiring because they fired Diddy. Or he was through with his contract, however they want to play it. But Hell, alcohol's always out there to make some money for somebody. Because hell, ever since we had to end prohibition, it was a reason that's a major industry. Well, a lot of people don't drink these days. 'Cause guess what? Yeah, drinking is cool, but hell, I don't want to be fucked up. Hell, they got a heat advisory like Six Bows was talking about here in Missouri. And guess what? That means they're recommending that if you drink alcohol, that you might want to not be out in the sun drinking that shit. Don't be out there on your fucking back porch talking about, oh, I was just gonna do some day drinking out in the sun. Your ass gonna be fried chicken ass motherfuckers. Shout out to y'all, cause hell, that's what y'all do.
Industry.
I think we're getting there. I think we're slowly but surely getting there.
Yeah, I think so. Well, the stats don't lie with some of the numbers that I've just ran. But, Anthony, you understand this space better than I do. As far as marketing, as getting new audiences in there, and that's something you'd specialize to. And John, is just, how do you get new consumers in? And, distribution partnerships and getting them outside of just cannabis dispensaries is obviously the first big step. But if you can have signage, in-store signage with product availability, and like you said, an on-site marketing team that's educating people on with a great appearance, then that's a huge step in the right direction. But I don't think you can underestimate that the product is available in some of these produce sections, which is really going to stand out from any kind of competition, let's say in, like I said, aisle 8, in the beverage section of a grocery store.
But that's why beverages have taken off. They're inviting. My wife doesn't want to go to a dispensary and buy product. She doesn't. No matter what I tell her, no matter how good of an experience I could tell her what it's going to be, she doesn't want to go to a dispensary and buy product. Would she buy product at Total Wine? Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, most people outside of our sphere interpret a dispensary like the employees are stoned, like it's not a very consumer-friendly area, like I got to jump through hoops. Seeing these products in big box retail, from the liquor perspective, seeing them in grocery, like it changes people's perception in ways that we can't with products that are bound to being in a dispensary.
Absolutely.
And that's why you're seeing it boom, and that's why I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, but up.
Yeah. You talked. Go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, I hope maybe if we talk in a few weeks or a couple of months, it'd be fun to be able to show some images of what it looks like to be placement, non-stigmatized as a normal product.
I think it's a great idea.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see at this conference, too, that a lot of people in the regulated market welcomed the news from Washington, and they want regulation, they want direction from Washington. Anthony, you made a point, too. Like, no one wants to go into a cannabis dispensary that isn't a, let's say, consistent flower consumer. Your wife doesn't want to go in because even in some states, like, again, I've used this example a few times in Michigan. Like, there's lots of people I speak to where it's legal both from adult use and medically, and they're worried about losing their jobs, because on the federal level, it's still classified as a Schedule I drug. So there's still so much misconception out there. And until you get direction from Washington, there's just, people are not going to go into a dispensary in fear of potentially losing their jobs. So I think once you actually build out these distribution opportunities like you did, John, this is the reason why, as I said, you got top 10 THC hemp-derived beverages ranking the top 10 liquors right now within the state of Minnesota. And that's just climbing everywhere in various states.
Yeah, and we, by the way, I probably saw 20 other well-established liquor distributors at the hemp show. It wasn't just us talking to each other. I mean, they're all looking, they're all angling, they all know what the stats are. So it's there. The inertia's there. I think the desegmentation is there. I think we have things. If you did the prohibition comparison, we have it sort of backwards. There's a period where beer was allowed and hard liquor was still banned during Prohibition. In our case, we have liquor stores, the dispensaries that are legalized within states, but they're talking about banning beer. It just doesn't make sense.
Wow.
I don't think we're going to get a beer/hemp ban.
No.
It's a natural, healthy part of democracy that, I mean, when you see Rand Paul's position of increasing it to 1%, I don't agree with that, because I think there's plenty we can work with on the 0.3%. But you need people on both sides pushing their deeper agendas in order to come to the happy place.
This has happened before. You think back 100 years ago, there's movies about prohibition. Like, can you imagine if we had podcasts 100 years ago, what they're trying to do, try to bring alcohol across the line? Like, I know we look at this and say, this is something the first time we've gone through before, and I beg to differ. I think this is just, it changes with the times. The same initiative as to what's going on towards the cannabis space is what alcohol went through, 100 years ago. Like, there's movies about Al Capone that were put together that are still notorious today's age, and we're still talking about 100 years later. And I know 30, 40 years from now, we'll look back at this, and there'll be a new generation that'll look back and say, wow, it's crazy to think cannabis was classified as a Schedule I drug, and there is so much uncertainty around the hemp space. But, with change, there's always, uncomfortable times. But once you commit, that's where you, like you said, want a little direction from the government, so that way we understand where we're going. Because once you understand where you're going, then you've got a game plan, right?
That's it.
Well, last thing I'll bring up, your Q2 financials showed steady revenue, gross margins retained around 75%. So if you could top line us, what'd you like? And I think more importantly, what's the big takeaway, I guess, from your latest earnings call?
Well, I mean, we were happy to grow again. Unfortunately, the U.S. dollar didn't really want to cooperate with us, so we grew our revenue by about 6 or 7%, and we saw roughly the same amount of depreciation in USD, and of course, we make all of our money in the States and convert it to Canadian dollars. So, some discount from there, and then of course, your parts of your balance sheet also get devalued because of the U.S. dollar, because we're based here. So, we were glad to grow. We're glad to sort of maintain our gross margins. What we're looking to see, and again, been public in saying this about our company, is we have this baseline revenue that comes from royalties from Major in about 10 different states. Well-established business. Happy Apple has really been in market. It was in market for half the quarter of Q2, or looking at a full quarter of Q3. This is additive new revenue for us, and it's not royalty. We're booking the top line of our wholesale revenue. So we're hopeful. Again, we're not, as our quarter ends at the end of August, we're hopeful that we're going to be able to book some revenues from ZT and one or two other distributors before the end of August. But it's early innings for us. We're hoping to sign 10 more deals like this, and we can't. They're out there. This is a big country with a lot of different players. So,
right. Is that what excites you the most, John, moving forward?
It is it's the. Sorry, excites. I'm still very excited about our dispensary business. I'm still very excited about what we're doing with Major and introducing some new derivatives of Major. Lots going on there that we're really thrilled about. But this is the white hot part of our industry. This represents the biggest growth opportunity for us, and absolutely, Happy Apple is what both keeps me up at night, but also wakes me up in the morning.
Yeah,
we're excited to grow the company. So I think it's going to be a big driver for our revenue over the next 6 months. These things take time; it doesn't happen overnight. But once the snowball gets rolling, it's a whole different type of scale that we're looking at.
Yeah. Big takeaway, top 10 liquors in Minnesota recently reported total beverage sales are now hemp-derived THC drinks, and hence the reason why you announced your latest distribution was ZT Distribution, which again covers Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. Good to see as far as the overall industry starting to expand and grow, and more importantly, the regulated side wanting some direction, and welcomed it with open arms as to what Washington outlined as far as regulation in that 12-month timeline. So hopefully both industries, cannabis and hemp, as we know, are tied together, will look a lot differently in 12 months, which I firmly believe it will. What that looks like, don't know, but all we know is that there's going to be a lot of direction coming from Washington, and that's key for any industry to grow. So well done, and more importantly, let's keep in touch, okay?
Thanks for having me back. Great to see you both.
All right, thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Yeah, see, they say here for
Hey everyone,
40
we
minutes
just
talking about
eclipsed 50,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We want to continue to grow this community. So if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe now. We'd appreciate it very much here at the TDR Traded Black podcast. As usual, let's keep the conversation going, so leave your comments below. And we'll get back to you with any feedback that you want to learn more of. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, but anyways, like I said, they sat here for like 40 minutes chopping it up about alcohol and getting ready for the transition, because that's what they're telling you. Anything that they're complaining about, you should be making your preparations for. If you're not prepared, hey, shout out to the Homework 2025 playlist, because we talked about it over here in the playlist. That's where this video is going whenever I get done with it, because I'll make sure I put it in the playlist. You dig? Shouts out to the Homework 2025. That playlist got like, close to 1,000 videos in it already. And hell, that's just me sitting at home doing videos for a year like I'm supposed to. Hell, shout out to me for being big me in the building. You dig? Anyways, y'all know how we do. We gonna go ahead and get to the end of the video, because hell, I'm holding y'all up for hostage.
From summer's end till the winter comes, till gray days turn to yellow ones. I stay grinding for mine. I try to tell them once, to travel to the moon, you gotta brave the elements. And battle many goons, you gotta cage the elephants. It's elementary, I speak with a certain eloquence. I smoke hella blunts, a habit I've been developed since I was a young boy playing the silver ball. See them stand, feel them fall, Metallica, kill them all. Living like this is my last moment, but a moment could last forever. Snap a picture in that, colon. Give whatever you going, sip in your glass, hold it up. Hit the side on mine, get the tip in the back, go in. So many days we were sitting low. Better get busy living till the day you giving and then get to go where the sinners go. Pulling the cash and spend it slow, better make it fast, but them should know. Not no money, yo, it's all expendable. You be alright, yeah.
What if Vegeta fought in Perfect Cell? I'll see y'all Saturday if y'all want to talk about some Dragon Ball. Y'all know how we do. Super Saturdays over on Spider Pig.
Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in the
Yeah, let's see. They be ready to go. So do I. You know what I'm saying? Every Saturday, 8 a.m. on Spider Pig. Shout out to that PI with a double G. You know what I'm talking about? If not, hey, you can be a hater, because we talk about anything entertaining over there. Let me know what you want to watch and we'll watch it with you. Like I was telling Naomi, while she's out here walking, we'll be on the phone talking. Yeah, you dig? Playlist. Go ahead, run one for your boy. You know, we might get monetized over here on this channel one day. Hell, you might buy me a coffee, because that's the easiest way to do it.